Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to week number 4 in January. So, last time I saw you, we worked on the deer, and the week before that, we worked on the wolf, and the week before that, we worked on the bear. So, we are doing our final picture today, and I'm going to pan you down in a second. But what you need again is your piece of paper, you'll need your pencil, and you'll need a napkin or a tissue to help with the shape. I just want to say the pictures that you have been doing in art class are absolutely incredible. The pictures I have been getting in Seesaw are amazing too. So you guys are doing a great job in art, and let's get started on the next animal, which is going to be a beautiful winter owl. Okay, so to get started, like always, let's take the piece of paper and let's make a middle line down the center, just like that. That way we know where the middle is, so whatever we put on the left, we're going to put on the right, okay? I'll give you a chance to do that, and while you're doing that, I'm just gonna load up my inspiration picture here because I look at a picture when I draw because it helps me teach you how to put the animal onto the paper. So I'm just going to pull that up while you guys are folding your paper, and I think you have it about now. So I think we're ready to begin. I made sure that my pencil is sharp, and again, I have my tissue floating over here in case if I want to add some shadow. So the first thing I want to do is right in the middle, we're going to work on the nose. Now, owl has a beak, right? So a beak on this owl is shaped not like a triangle, not like a diamond, sort of like an elongated teardrop. So I'll give you a few seconds to put that on, and then when you have it, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to touch right where the line is folded. So I'm on the folded line, and I am going to bring my line up and go over, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side because these animal faces are symmetrical, and that creates, I'll call it the brow line, his little eyebrows. I know it's hard to see, but when we're done, it'll look amazing. Okay, now what we're going to do is let's put the owl's eyes in. So the owl's eyes, I'm going to put a mark here and put a mark there, just so you can see where I'm going to plant my little eyes, okay? So I'm going to put in first his pupil, and owls have nice, big, dark pupils. One on the left, one on the right. Make them the same size, right? And then you're going to go around the pupil with another circle. Like that. Okay? And now what I want to do is take my pencil, and this is where you can take a few seconds, and now that you're getting good at shadowing, you can go back in very lightly and add in some shadow into his iris of his eye on the right and the left. Take your time. And if you notice, I don't color in the entire, I'll call that the donut of his eye, because I'm going to take my eraser now and just kind of feather it around. Just like that. Okay? Now, let's move on to the shape of the owl's head. Okay, To make the shape of the head, it's pretty easy. What you're going to do is you're going to touch the bottom of his beak. Okay? Actually, go under his beak just like a little tiny bit. And you're going to go under the beak. So it looks like a little tiny little smile there. That's not going to be his mouth, because owls don't really have a mouth. But you're going to go up and around. And then you're going to repeat that shape onto the other side. So you go up and around. Are you starting to see the owl's face? And now what I want to do is I want to just down here kind of map in the shape of his body. So I'm going to just organize my paper here so you can see it better. And I'm going to just touch the side here and just kind of go down. And don't worry about how it looks right now, because you're going to be adding shadowing. Did you see how I did that? Easy, right? And now let's block in the top of his head. Okay? So these lines, if yours are a little short, you can make them a little bit longer. Okay? And I'm going to go up here above his eyes and put the top of his head. Do you see that line right there? And then I'm going to make them go off and touch the tip like this. I know that looks a little weird right now, but once I start to put in my shadow, it'll look like feathers. I'm basically just mapping in his face right now. Okay? So I'll give you a chance to map this out, and then we will move on to the next. Okay. So now from here, we're adding tons of shadowing and light spots, because we want to give the illusion that this owl has feathers and dimension to his face. So in here, where I'll call that looks like his mask, which is sort of like the center of his face, you want to make the shadow lines kind of spiral out. That's called radial design in art. And I'm going to put almost like if you can imagine, you know how we draw suns with those lines shooting out? Like rays of light. So I'm going to put looks like a sunflower, right? So I'm going to do that on the other side. Whatever I do on the left, I want to do on the right. Okay. And now I maybe want to do a darker ring around that ring. So I'm pressing harder. And look at that, I get right to the edge. See that? Ooh, I'm shaking my table here. Sorry, guys. Okay. And now I'm going to add maybe a lighter burst of lines going around here, just to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And do you see this line right here? Well, you can go off it. Those were just guidelines, okay? See how I went off? And now I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's press a little lighter just to get some more variation with the shading. Okay. And I have room for maybe one more half circle. You may not, so you have to kind of tailor this to how you drew. There we go. There. And now what I want to do is I'm going to take my tissue and I'm going to blend it. But don't just scribble like that. Follow the same direction of your rays. Okay? Okay. And now what I might do is take my eraser and I might just scribble with my eraser. Follow that circular shape to blend and add some lighter feathers into the owl's face. Now, I'm going to go super dark up here where we'll call that his eyebrows are. Okay? So I'm going to really take my pencil and press hard. And notice the direction in which I'm scribbling. Don't just scribble all over the place. You want to find that curve line and follow the curve. Do you see how I did that? And then I'm going to work my way up and into his little forehead. Yep, there you go. And I'm just going to blend some feathers in here. Take my tissue, blend it in, and then take your eraser and go back and add a couple light spots like that. Okay, so I held it up because sometimes looking at your artwork from a different angle helps you see how it looks. And I think he looks pretty good. I might want to raise his eyebrow up here a little bit, which kind of forms his ear. Excuse me. So now what I want to do is I'm going to start adding some darkness on the sides of his body and around his upper chest and blend some feathers in down below. So let me pan you down and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to take, and by the way, I sharpened my pencil again because it was wearing down. You all know after doing this 3 times that sometimes you have to resharpen that pencil, right? So there's some feathers on the left or your right. I don't know which way it's going to look on your end. And I'm going to go in. And this is where, as an artist, you have to start looking at your artwork and going, yes, it needs a little more dark here, or it needs a little more light over there. And now that my pencil sharpened, I'm going to go back in and play around by his face a little bit, because I did see that I can add some more variation. And I'm going to go over his eye a little bit, so that way the feathers look like they're just peeking over his eye a little. And then I'm going to go under his tummy here, or under his chest, and just start blending that in. And you know, the one thing I like drawing about animals, or drawing animals, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Because you know what? No animal in nature is perfect, just like we're not perfect. So if you make yours and yours looks a little different like mine, that's okay. It's maybe a different type of owl, okay? So drawing animals is, you know, it's challenging at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll start to see how good you are at drawing. And animals are just such a great way to start to become an artist with drawing. And now what I want to do is I want to go back in with his nose and make his nose as dark as I can. So I'm really using the tip of my pencil now to really kind of darken it. And then I might add just a little white line to look like a little reflection on his nose. And then I think I'm going to take my tissue and blend in some of those feathers on his chest. Yes, that looks really good. There. Okay, so boys and girls, I took a little more time off the camera and added some highlights and some more shadow into his face. But you can get the general idea of how to make the owl. So give it a try. I hope that this one's going to come out as nice as all the other animals. And what's fun is if you're working at home, challenge someone in your house to draw with you, and you'll see how good they are as well. Okay? So give it a try. This is our project for week number 4. And next time I see you, can you believe it's going to be February and we're going to begin a new project then? So I hope you had fun today, and I will see you next week. Bye, boys and girls.